Okay, wait. I honestly thought it was just one layer of cake and then one layer of cheesecake. That's not the case. We're doing bam, bam, bam. It's multiple layers. The stage just got so much better.
What's happening, gang? It's Justin.
And I'm Brooke.
And we're here in the Delish test kitchen. It's Easter season, which usually means like incredible sweets. And obviously what a lot of people love making for Easter brunch is a carrot cake. And that's fine, that's good. But I think we can make something a little bit more impressive. We're gonna be making a carrot cake cheesecake.
Bottom layer is carrot cake, the top layer is cheesecake, and then it gets smothered in the most rich and velvety cream cheese frosting and topped with toasty walnuts.
It's like a mashup of like people's like two favorite cake styles, and that like cream cheese frosting just makes it like carrot cake and red velvet cake are just a vessel for that frosting. It's gonna be delicious. Let's get into it. I feel like whoever was developing this recipe was thinking like, what is the best cheesecake base? Like a shortbread or like a graham cracker? And then they were like, actually, let's just make it carrot cake.
What if a whole cake was my cheesecake crust? And I love that train of thought personally. Are you gonna take care of the crust?
Yeah, I'm gonna just make this little crust moment, and then you can take care of the cheesecake.
Great. I'm in a cheesecake mood today.
Cool,
so.
sick. All right, guys, first thing we gotta consider when we're making any carrot cake is our carrots. We're gonna need to peel them, and then we're gonna grate them. And for that, we're gonna need a box grater. We got this big boy, it's very efficient. And you get to make a choice. As you see, there's multiple holes on here. We are usually making a choice between the two finest, which usually look like this vibe, this size, or this size. And it really depends on how much of a carrot bite you want in the actual recipe. If you want something that's a little bit more textural, might even just like be bigger slices in your cake, you're gonna wanna go for these holes. I like, and I think it's a little bit more traditional to do these little guys. That's gonna give you those like little shreds, and it incorporates the cake so it doesn't feel like a vegetable cake necessarily. It feels like a carrot cake, but the choice is yours. So grate up your carrots, and then we can start building the actual cake. This is like just a step more difficult than a box cake mix, but if you did wanna use a box cake mix, I would use like spiced cake, and then just add some ground carrots and raisins in, but we wanna make our own version. We're gonna go into a large bowl with some flour, sugar, baking soda, cinnamon. You can use anything you want here, like warming spices. You can pumpkin pie spice, you can make your own blend, things like clove, nutmeg, whatever. Just anything that makes you wanna curl up by a fire with a book. Then we're gonna add in a pinch of salt. Whisk that all together until thoroughly combined, then we can move on to our wet ingredients. Typically for desserts, we wanna go for like butter because it's gonna add that richness, that decadence we look for. But in veggie cakes like carrot cake and zucchini cake, we're gonna actually lean towards using oil, a lot of it, and specifically neutral oil, things like canola oil and veggie oil. In this case, it's gonna be canola. This is gonna add a different type of moisture than we're used to. It's gonna add less of a crumb and more of that like beautiful, unctuous, like I don't even know how to describe it, that like pillowy nature that you think of when you think of a carrot cake. And it also keeps it moist for like longer. So you could be having this cake for almost a week, 2 weeks. So into our dry ingredients, we're going directly in with some oil and 2 eggs. We're gonna wanna mix that in thoroughly until combined, get that like classic cake batter texture. Then we're gonna go in with our carrots, the star of the show, and then some nuts and some raisins. Transparently, you're not gonna view this as like a cake batter. This almost feels like a cookie batter, which is good because we need that sturdy base for that cheesecake to sit on, because if it was just like liquidy batter, it would kind of just all combine. So we need a little bit more body in this cake. But this looks good, and I taste it a little bit off my finger, and it tastes really good too. Brooke, I'm done.
Are you?
Are you ready?
Is it my turn?
It is.
Okay.
You are all prepared and everything. Look at your business. This is good. All right, well, clearly better prepared than I ever was.
It's cheesecake time, ladies and gentlemen. Now it's time for the best part of the carrot cake cheesecake. Don't tell Justin, he can't hear me right now, I don't think. It's time for the best part, which is the cheesecake. And I love cheesecake because it honestly is insanely easy. It could not be a simpler thing to make. Cheesecake, like I said, is insanely easy. There's only a few ingredients. To start, you're gonna get some softened cream cheese, make sure it's soft. Beat it in a bowl with a little bit of sugar until it gets nice and smooth. Then we're gonna add in our flour and salt. Next we have our eggs, which are crucial in a cheesecake because a cheesecake is essentially a custard, and you can't have a custard without eggs. So we've got 2 whole eggs and a little bit of vanilla, and we're gonna get those all blended in. Here's a hot tip. When you're adding the eggs to your cheesecake batter, make sure you go one at a time and get them fully blended in before you add the next egg. You wanna make sure the eggs get fully emulsified into the batter so that you don't have any weird pockets of egg or batter just hanging out. Okay, don't get over excited.
Oh my God.
And last but not least, we'll add in a little bit of sour cream. What that's gonna do is bring a lot of tang and a little much needed brightness to this very, very rich and dense cake. I wanna eat this straight up. I don't even wanna bake it. I kinda just wanna take a straw and drink this cheesecake batter, but that's irresponsible. So we're gonna bake it instead. But I've got it to the perfect consistency that I wanted to show y'all. See, it's nice and smooth and creamy.
Ready to build a cake?
I am ready to build a cake.
Amazing.
Let's
Look
get
at
it.
our two perfect little bowls.
Honestly, I feel like if we just baked that up and slathered this on top.
That's so good.
No,
No, but this is gonna be even better. This is gonna be even better. Okay?
Okay, you're right. Focus.
Alrighty. So, first thing we gotta do, we're gonna take our springform pan. You need a springform for this in any cheesecake. Don't be trying to like yank cheesecake out of a regular cake pan. You're gonna have a bad time. So, we're gonna spray this down, and then we're gonna do a little bit of layering action. It's not dangerous.
Sorry, go.
Friends and teamwork.
We're gonna have a little bit like a slight marbling moment in the base of the cake. So we're gonna put about 2/3 of the carrot cake mixture into the bottom of the pan, followed by like about 1/3 of the cheesecake. Then you're gonna wanna take like a spoon and make a little like shmoosh shmoosh action with what you got in there. Top it with the remaining carrot cake, and then finish it with the cheesecake.
Okay, wait. This is gonna make me look horrible, and that's fine. I honestly thought it was just one layer of cake and then one layer of cheesecake. That's not the case. We're doing bam, bam, bam. It's multiple layers. This day just got so much better.
I love her. She's beautiful.
She is pretty.
Just really go ham, like go hard, use your offset, get it nice and smooth. This is your showstopper. This is the middle of your dessert platter. You want everyone else at the potluck to look at it and be like, I gotta step it up next year.
But I will say, we're gonna cover the top in frosting. So while you can go hard, and should, because that's what you should do, we're gonna cover the top. So it'll cover up any sins or mistakes that happen while it's in the oven.
Speaking of, unlike a lot of cheesecake recipes, this doesn't use a bain-marie, which is the fancy French word for saying
Water
bath. Water baths typically keep cakes moist, and they also keep things from cracking on top, which is really important if you're serving the cheesecake uncovered. But the cake underneath the cheesecake is actually gonna provide some nice needed steam and moisture naturally, and because we're gonna frost it, we don't care about those cracks. So really low maintenance, we're just gonna be able to put this right in the oven.
I can't believe you said bain-marie. I did not think you were gonna bust that out. That's crazy. You went French on me. That's wild. This beautiful thing is gonna go into a 350-degree preheated oven for about an hour.
Should be nice and set. And again, don't worry, there might be a little bit of crackage. It might even be a little golden brown, but that's fine.
Totally okay. Because frosting.
Frosting. While our beautiful multi-layered baby is in the oven, we are going to make our frosting, because at the end of the day, a lot of people eat carrot cake just to have cream cheese frosting.
I mean, you're thinking, didn't we already use cream cheese? Yes, we did. And we're gonna use some more because we can.
So into our large bowl, we're gonna add softened cream cheese, softened butter, powdered sugar, and a little bit of vanilla extract. We're gonna whip it up with a hand mixer until it is nice and smooth in that classic frosting consistency.
The key here is making sure your cream cheese and butter are actually soft. You don't want half soft, you don't want still cold, you want them to be room temperature straight up. So when you whip them together, you wanna make sure they combine nice and evenly and get nice and fluffy. You can also add the sugar in gradual additions instead of dumping it all in at once, so all the powdered sugar doesn't fly out.
I've been there. And also, don't be lazy. I am often lazy and I forget to take my cream cheese and butter out. And it's actually really not great to try to microwave it and make it happen. Like, really try your best to remember a couple hours before, take those boys out, let them sit on the counter.
But don't leave cream cheese out for longer than 2 hours. That's dangerous.
Bad stuff.
Don't do that.
It's been about an hour. We're gonna check on our cake. Oh yeah, it's definitely grown in size, souffled slightly. I'm gonna do a little jiggle moment. That's like the exact amount of jiggle we're looking for. It's jiggling, but it's not like liquidy. It's not like kind of waves on the top. It's all one unit. So we're gonna let this cool now. What that means is we're gonna keep it in our oven, pop a little wooden spoon in the door, and let this get to room temperature. This allows for things to come down very gradually, keeps everything nice and moist. Once that's done, we're gonna transfer it to the fridge for 4 hours until it's totally cool. So we were smart and we didn't want to stay here in these same clothes for like 8 hours.
Nope.
So we baked it off, we cooled it off, and this is our cake that we made last night. Now, you're probably looking at this and being like, that's your cheesecake? Why does it look like that? Here's the thing. As we said before, we're using this frosting, so I don't really care. And honestly, if it gets to save me very carefully pouring boiling water into a baking dish and then placing it, I'd rather do this.
Because if you've ever dropped hot water on yourself while trying to make a hot water bath, you would love to skip it at any opportunity possible.
Also, low-key, there's this thing called a Basque cheesecake from Spain where like the whole point is to get these like cracked little caramelized edges, and I think it tastes better.
We can just call it that.
Yeah.
We can just say...
And the inside's still gonna be creamier too. We're gonna pop the cake out of the spring form and we're gonna get it somewhere sturdy so that we can decorate it.
And to decorate, remember, we're just topping it with frosting, so you don't need to do the sides or anything. Just gently layer a smooth layer of frosting over the top so you can cover up all those unsightly cracks and ridges.
Then for decorating, you could go on tons of different ways, but we're just gonna stick it pretty clean with these walnuts, get a little bit like of a gradation of like smaller walnuts, bigger walnuts. It's gonna look absolutely beautiful, but you could add grated carrot, you could do
A couple more raisins in there.
a bunch of different things.
Yeah, whatever your heart desires.
But we like that like beautiful, clean look.
Yes.
I can't believe it.
I'm so proud of us.
It's 2 cakes in 1.
Also, I gotta say, of everyone on the team, we're not the strongest bakers.
I'd say we're actively the least strong bakers, which is why you're seeing like a decent amount of like genuine surprise and shock at our ability to do this.
We're the weak bakers, but you couldn't tell from this because this is the cake of a strong baker.
And look at this friggin' frosting, that little natural drizzle level. All right, let's try.
Okay.
Go, you first.
Me first?
You first.
You're a gentleman.
Wow.
Wow.
Let's do it. Go in.
Yum, 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 yum. Yum.
I know Cheesecake Factory has like technically done it for a long time, but we should be combining 2 cakes more often.
I kind of feel like we could put them out of business with this cake. Let me not say that.
No, that's true. And you know what? It's a really, really good balance of both. I don't think it's overly cheesecakey or overly carrot cakey.
It's not, and to be honest, I was worried that the cream cheese frosting would be a bit much, but...
It's such a thin layer that you managed to get on it.
It's perfect.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And I like the simple little sprinkling of nuts on top. That warming spice is delicious. We get that unctuous, rich creaminess and that bit of tart from the sour cream. Let's just put it in one word. It's a showstopper.
It is.
There's not a lot to think of when you're thinking about using leftover cake. Honestly, the first thing that comes to mind is...
Oh, I would grill it up.
Dang, okay, well
that
I stand
crazy?
corrected. But if you're not as ambitious as Brooke, you can make cake pops. And what I do love about maybe making cake pops with this, because there's already that built-in cheesecake layer, you usually have to make more buttercream and fold it into the cake.
But you won't need that.
I really don't think we're gonna need it here. Let's make them. So take whatever amount of cake you have left over, get it into a bowl and just smash it up. Use a fork, you can use a potato masher if you have a lot of it. Get it until it's become this like nice, pliable mixture, and you should be able to pick it up a little bit and make it into a ball that's gonna be pretty sturdy. It shouldn't be something that falls apart. If so, you could add a little bit more cake and a little less cheesecake, a little less frosting. Then you're just gonna take some white chocolate, melt it. You could dye it different colors. We love the pastels at Easter, so we're gonna get some pastel yellow. And then enrobe it in that chocolate, roll it around, set it aside to cool either in a fridge or a freezer for about 15 minutes, then go to town decorating.
Oh, no.
We're gonna be really, really transparent. It's 8 o'clock at night. We've been here since 9. I have shaky little boy hands. They're very small and fat. And you were off doing other stuff, and I had to make these. And I tried my ding dang hardest, everybody. Boy, am I lucky that my parents gave me a good sense of self-esteem, because if not, all of this nonsense would really be collapsing me in right now. I'm proud of my work. I will say, of all the crazy ones, this is my little man here. I love him. Oh man, he's
Can I name
struggling.
him?
Terrence.
Oh, that's perfect.
Perfect.
I love him. He's trying his hardest.
I love him. Okay, you want to try it? Yeah. Okay, great.
No, in all seriousness, you did a solid job.
Because in reality, Brooke admitted to me off camera that she couldn't do better, but she's gonna pretend like she's better than me.
Always.
Cheers.
Bloop. Woo!
Unctuous. Low key, actually, despite this being a little bit of a disaster,
No, they're delicious.
They're delicious, and they're also the best way to make cake pops. Cake pops can tend to be a little bit of a nightmare because sometimes you're like purposefully making cake and you have to make a ton of buttercream. You didn't need that for this.
And if you're like me and you hate waste and you hate throwing away leftovers, a cake pop is the way to go.
It's like a perfect way to handle this.
Yeah.
And you can do decorating that's better than mine.
Or you can just have kids do it,
Yep.
and it'll be about the same.
Or you can just throw a bunch of sprinkles on them and no one cares. I tried too hard. And it's late and we didn't make more. I really enjoyed making these holiday sweets with you.
Thanks, bud.
It's super fun. It's because they're really adorable, just like us.
And full of sugar, just
Absolutely,
like us.
absolutely. I'm gonna have a full sugar crash after this. But if you wanna make some more incredible holiday dessert recipes, you're gonna want to head over to delish.com.